It's actually a two-part series I'm putting together that is about shimming your stirrups and also putting treads on your stirrups and how to lace your stirrups. So it's really important if you have knee issues or hip issues when you're riding for quite a while. It might not be the way your stirrups are twisted. You can watch that video. It's twisting your stirrups to save your knees, or it might be your stirrup it actually. So when in this video we're going to talk about shimming, which is this tread will be removed and you're going to place some leather on either side to get your foot to go into that stirrup even. So a lot of us, when our stirrups are not trained and they sit this way and we have to use our feet to turn it and keep sitting there and trail ride for a couple hours, your knees begin to shake, your legs begin to shake. This is going to teach you how to shim it so that, one, you can twist your stirrups, watch the video, or you can actually shim maybe you've twisted your stirrups, but you're still having that problem. Try shimming your stirrup. And that's what this video is about, along with talking about treads and how to lace them. So we'll teach you how to lace them. I hope this video will be helpful, and please comment, like, share, subscribe with the below. But we're going to talk about shimming your stirrup, which is really important too, because not only do we want to stay in alignment, we don't want our ankles rolling left or right. Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to be using some pretty standard stirrups. Now, it depends on what your stirrup is. We're not talking about English stirrups today. We're talking about Western stirrups. And what we're going to be doing is showing you how to shim your stirrup. Really easy, really simple. It's something that you could do yourself. Anyway, so I'm just using a standard stirrup. Now your stirrups may be already leathered. Your stirrups maybe already have a tread on the bottom. So what a tread is this part right here. That is this piece here on your stirrup. And it is the part that holds and keeps your leather all in place around your stirrup. And it also supports keeping your stirrup clean as well. And it gives you a little traction. The thing is that if you're going to do this on your stirrup at home and you have a tread, you're going to have to remove it. Okay, and I'll show you some of that a little bit later. But what we're going to do is, you're like, well, why are we talking about this? So when we're riding in a stirrup, okay, we sometimes place our feet in the stirrup and our ankles roll. So it depends on how weak our knees are, how weak our ankles are, and sometimes we'll ride more on the ball of our foot. Okay, so what we want to do is instead of riding on the ball of the foot, we want to move that and put a shim in there so our foot is straight. Okay, this one here is sitting flat, and you say, well, that looks like it's sitting pretty flat. But when you put my weight in it, and if I've got bad posture or have a knee replacement like I do, that could make my knees roll. That could make my ankles roll. I have really sloppy ankles, and so it will make it roll. And then when I get off the horse after 2-3 hours of riding, I hurt like the holy heebie-jeebie dickens. Okay, and it feels like my whole hips on down are broken. So this is what we're talking about today. So we want to make sure that we got our foot flat in the stirrup, that our stirrups are twisted so that we can rest our foot in here. When your stirrups are this way on your saddle all the time, and you have to get on the saddle, put your foot in here and twist it to get your foot there, what's happening? What is, you're putting so much pressure on the outside of your leg. It's on your soleus of your calf, and then you're going to get a shin splint, and you're going to wonder why your shins hurt, or the outside of your calf hurts all the time, because you've actually had to train that stirrup with your own foot while you're riding to turn it and move it this way. So why twist your stirrups? You want to be able to have somebody like a leathersmith, a saddle maker. You can do it yourself. I've got a video on it, so you can do it yourself. And you want to get it so that while it's sitting in your saddle stand and it's ready to go, so that you do not have to have that pressure riding all the time on the outside of your leg. Because let me tell you, after 3-4 hours of doing that, have you ever had your legs start quivering? because it's so tired. The muscles are so tired. Yeah, okay, so that's what I'm helping you try to get rid of. Okay, so this is, again, a tread. Okay, I just threw this one together to put on here to show you what we're going to be doing after the shim. Okay, so what do we need? We need some leather. You might need one piece, you might need 2 pieces. And how long, how big, we'll talk about that. And that's what the ruler's for, to cut it. You might need a box knife to cut it. You will also need, and I will show a video on how to make a tread if you don't have a tread on your stirrup, but that's not for this. You can see in the description below when I do that video, or subscribe and you'll know when I do it. But you will need something to skive. What is skiving? Skiving is thinning one side of the leather. Okay, so one side's fat, one side's thin. Okay, I have a machine that does this, or I can just pull it through and do it, and it's a lot easier for me. But not everybody has that, so you can either buy a really cheap skiver, comes with a couple of blades, and do that. I sell them on my website. I also, Tandy sells them as well, same price. And then you can buy more of a professional skiver. That one's a little bit different, and it's skived straight. You can learn how to use those on a different video, or you can even go to Weaver and Tandy. They'll show you how to use them too. Or you can use a box knife. You can use a head knife if you have one. Most people don't even know what a head knife is, but you can use a box knife, okay? The way to use a box knife to skive one of these things is to just grab something that you can not care about so much. And that would be something like my big old block my mentor made me. I love it. I can't seem to cut it down because he's now gone. And anyway, I don't want to start crying. He's gone, but he taught me so much. So to skive, you know, this here, no, never cut towards yourself, guys. This is a safety thing. You always want to skive away from you, and you just cut this down, okay? You'll just keep cutting this down. I don't even have a piece of, let's see if I could do that with this. I don't want to ruin this piece because this piece is for another project, but you would just take it and start cutting it down, okay? So you would skive it down however thin you want it. Okay, and you get it. So I'm just going to go down to a point there. So you got sort of a point there, right? And it's sort of, with a knife, it's sort of choppy. So you're going to need some sandpaper. And this is good for 2 reasons. And you're just going to get it thin. You're going to get it smooth. And then you'll end up having something of this nature. All right. So we want to make sure that we get that skived. And the one thing that the sanding will do, it will also help with when you glue it. All right. I just don't want to do anything more with that because I'm using that for a different project. All right. So now we have a piece that is wide on one end, thin on the other. So the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to put this in the stirrup. So this is my right foot. So this is going to go on the thick part is going to go on the inside of my foot because I roll my ankles. So I end up having to put more pressure on the inside, okay, the way that I ride. So I have to put a little bit more thickness here. Now, if that usually should be enough. However, if it isn't, so we're going to glue that piece into the wood. But if it isn't enough, maybe you've got a little bit of a issue with your knee. Some people have one shorter leg than the other. Maybe the other one doesn't need to be skived, but this one does, or have a shim, and this one does. So what you want to do is just do the one that you feel like, okay, I'm having more problems with this foot. My knee replacement, I need one on that side, a lot more than my left side. So here we go. So what I did is I cut this as wide as the stirrup. Okay. Get that in there. There we go. It's as wide as the stirrup and about as long as wherever the flat piece is. Now I don't tell you how many inches or the length because A lot of the times it depends on your stirrup. You've got some stirrups that are completely a circle. Now it'd be sort of hard to do it on those, however you still can do it, but you would probably have more pressure on the outside because those things are just so uncomfortable. Sorry, I think they are uncomfortable. So, but if I were to say that this is not enough for me, I would take another piece of leather, same thing, and I would take it and I would put it on top. Okay? And then I would see if that's going to work for me, if that piece is going to work for me. So I'm going to try to get it as exact as I can. Okay. And then I'm going to put my foot in there and see how my foot is. Now maybe I've got too much on the outside, too much on the inside. Then that's where I can skive more. All right. You'll be shocked at how much even this, if it was just one, how much that's going to make a difference. You're going to be shocked. Okay. So how do we do this? How do we keep it on? What do we do? So if you don't have a tread for your stirrups, two things can happen. One, you want to make one because that's what's going to hold it in place and it's not going to move and it's not going to shift and it's not going to fall out, that kind of a thing. Or two, you can order one from my website. All right. So what we're going to do, I've got some barge here. You want to use a heavier glue. You could, some people say, well, you've got wood. Are you going to use some wood glue? You could try it. It doesn't hold as good as barge. So barge is more like a glue that, can get you high in a minute. It is like rubber cement glue, okay? But it is sort of what they use on shoes. There's even shoe glue that is even stronger than this. So what I'm doing is I'm going to glue. Now with barge, if you're going to use barge, the funny thing about barge is you okay, you got to let it sit for about 5 minutes. And you're like, well, yeah, but won't it be dry? Yeah, it actually looks like it is dry and acts like it is dry, but it's stickier than snot. Have you ever had a real sticky snot? Anyway, okay, hypothetically for time, we're going to say it's been 5 minutes. All right. Super simple task to do for you. This whole thing together would probably take you 15 minutes. Maybe a half an hour if you don't know what you're doing. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it in here and I'm going to glue it. Okay. Now the other thing too is if you don't have any clamps, I have clamps which I didn't put for the video, I should have, but you could take a couple of clamps and hold it on each side, just some real simple clamps. If you don't have a clamp, you could take something real heavy. I have a steel plate here that I use for things and I can put that on it. Just put something on it for probably half an hour or so. And then you can come back and finish whatever you need to do. If you were to need to go ahead and glue that second piece on, you needed more of that, the kind of a thing, then you would just take this and glue this right on top. But you want to make sure, okay, see what happened there? If I were to glue that, I would have just canceled out what I did. So you have to glue it the way that you have the first one set. So make sure your thick is with your thick and your thin is with your thin. All right. I've done projects and made more work for myself. Sometimes it was crazy. All right. So that you don't want to do this. This is a big no-no. That's the buzzer. Get off the stage, kind of a thing. No. All right. So this is what you want to do. So put your thick with your thick, thin with your thin, and glue those suckers down. Now, if you were going to do this, I would really strongly recommend go to Home Depot, get some clamps. Because the clamps will make it so much easier, so much faster, and they do not shift then. If I put this steel plate on there, it's very easy for this to shift and move. if something were to move it, or one side would be flat or whatever. So you can do that. Again, not everybody has all the tools and the money to go ahead and go buy some of these things. Find something that'll fit in there that's heavy, that's not going to move. Put it somewhere where it is not going to move, okay? So when you're done with that, your shim is pretty much done, okay? This is glued on solid. You got your foot, you're really happy, you're that kind of a thing. But now what do? Am I going to leave it like this and then my foot's going to catch this and it's going to go? No, so that's where we have to put a shim, or where we have to put a tread, okay? So you guys, this is a tread. This is a tread that I made, just threw it together. Treads are very easy, so that's another video. However, you want to put a tread over this, and then you want to put it, you want to lace it back on, okay? So once you're done, your tread will be on your thing, your shim will be done underneath there. You won't even know it, but you sure will feel it, okay? So that's how you do a shim. So if you go and you purchase a tread from our website, I'm going to show you how to lace it, okay? So this is going to help you in lacing a tread. Pretty much it. All right, so the treads that we sell are pretty supple, and I'm going to show you two techniques, okay? So this is a tread that we have here. This is for a standard stirrup, okay? You can get them 4 inches, 2 inches. You have to custom order those, and please know the dimensions that you need. There's hundreds of stirrups out there, and I can't read the dimensions of your stirrups from here. So please know the dimensions. Basically what you need to know is the width here. You can also take a tape measure and go all the way around and say, okay, I need, know your measurements. So, because when we put a tread on, you want to have a little bit of a space on the bottom, okay? So you're going to have a little bit of space, which is fine, because when we lace it, it's going to pull it together. So you don't want to have it overlapping in that way, like this tread here. This one is all done, that we did the demonstration on for shimming your stirrup. So that one is all done. Another thing is you can get treads that are a normal raw color. You can dye them yourself. Remember, it may shrink a little bit. Also, too, when you dye them, you have to finish them. Otherwise, that dye comes off on your boots or your whatever you're wearing, tennis shoes or whatever. I used to wear tennis shoes, get in trouble all the time. But that's the thing, is if you're going to dye your tread, make sure that you put some type of finish over it, like Resolene is a really good finish. And then you can also, too, waterproof them with special waterproofing products that we also carry as well. Just look on Google, you'll find waterproofing for leather. But you can do that because we get muddy boots, we get all that kind of stuff. It will wear off. You'll want to reapply it occasionally with that. All right. So we're going to lace. So what we're going to do, this is a very supple leather. Okay, this is one leather that I used for quite a while. This is one of my samples that I work with. And because it is supple, I don't have to put it in water per se. It might help it if it's a little too short. However, if you get a tread and you are going to put it on your, and especially if you dye it, go ahead and put it in some water. Okay, I was going to put water in here, but it leaked all over. I had one that leaked everywhere. So put it in water, make sure it soaks really good, and then set it down for 5 minutes somewhere. And let the absorption go into the tread itself so that it gets all the way through. This will get it to really nice and supple to go on your stirrup. Because when you put your tread on your stirrup, hopefully you can see this, you're going to lay it in the center there. Okay, and when it's wet, you can mold it. Okay, it's much easier to mold when it's wet. Okay, and work with as well. So you're going to bring these two so they match in the middle. Okay, and then you're just going to begin to lace. Okay, so I send a lace with this one here. You're going to start your lace on the inside. You're going to leave it on the inside, and you're going to come through. So you just want a tail. just put a tail there. You can put it in the center, you can put it on the side, just a tail, okay? And then you're just gonna start lacing. Now, some people, you can take, on your laces, you can also take, I don't like using saddle soap. I like to use either like neat's foot oil or some type of conditioner, like hey, Kicho, get out of there. Like my dog. Like what do you call that? Like Be Natural. It's a conditioner so that it'll keep it nice and conditioned. I just don't like, I'm not one for saddle soap. I don't like leaving a residue. Anyway, that'll make it a little bit slicker to go through the holes. So we're gonna go ahead and put this through the hole, pull it through. I'm not doing any of that because this is supple. This has been an example used already for, you know, other things. But just leave a little short tail in there, little short tail. Get it back in center there. Okay, and hold it tight. Okay, make sure that your lace is turned with the smooth side out, and then you're just gonna go back and forth in a lace. Okay, now you're gonna keep this sort of loose at first because, I'll show you why in a little bit, because you have to finish it, okay? So you're gonna go under, and then you're gonna go back through the other side. Okay, now if it shifts a little bit, that's okay, because we're gonna tighten it up later. Then you're gonna go through the top. You're just threading it. Just remember to go through on the bottom, underneath side. And then back through again. Tighten it a little bit there. I'm hoping you can see this because this just makes it easier. If you can. Okay, pull it through. And it does look like I'm getting short, but that's okay. Because again, we're really loose there, right? Don't panic, guys. Don't panic. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're going to begin to tighten. Now I'm going to take that one underneath and I'm going to set it in the center so that that holds it down. Okay, and I'm going to bring these together. Now, if this starts to get a little bit off, don't worry about that a little bit yet. Not yet. Okay. You see how that's coming together? Okay, and I'm just gonna, gives me a little bit more here as I go through. Turn it. Okay, so now I'm gonna come back in this hole here. I was like, well, Patty, what do I do now? You'll be surprised. Okay, so we're gonna tighten this all up to this point here. Okay, so we're gonna get it all nice and tight, meet them in the middle. Now you see how that one's moving a little bit? Keep moving that up because they should match. If they don't, I'll show you a little trick that you can do because you're saying, oh man, mine didn't turn out that way. Well, I will show you. Okay. Shift it up. Pull it down, pull it down. Okay, so now we have this tail in there, right? So what you're gonna do, the reason why we wanted to keep it loose is we're gonna push it down the middle. Now you don't need to leave it this long. but you can push it down the middle. So, and I can tuck that down, but I tuck that underneath. All right, and then there you go. Then we got that. Then what you do is you go on the other side and you can take your maul or whatever you have and you can hammer it down a little bit to get it to that. And then you can also rub it. Now this one here is not as tight because I didn't wet it. But also the other thing that you can do is if these do not meet, it's okay. Just go ahead and take your box knife and just trim that, okay? Just trim it so they meet and match. Let me see if I have a box knife here. So what I would do is just take a box knife and just trim it so that it would meet. And then if I want to bevel it, then I can do that. And then what you would do is take these and hammer these down. And then you have a tread. This one is better set, but this one here, this one I use for patterns and stuff. So, but that's what your tread is going to look like when it's completely finished. We do sell the treads and the lace that goes with it. If you need one custom made, please just make sure you have your dimensions correct. Because custom items are not refundable. I hope this was helpful. Please go to our website at theleatherladyllc.com or our YouTube channel at YouTube, The Leather Lady LLC. Have a great day and thank you for watching.